Hi, I wanted to be able to give you our weekly update from Washington. As many of you are well aware, we just spent the month of August touring the 3rd Congressional District, holding 12 town hall meetings, going throughout the 3rd and listening to the concerns of our constituents. Had the opportunity to be able to meet with doctors' associations, small businesses, individuals at the coffee shop, to be able to hear the concerns that we're facing at home as a result of what's coming out of Washington, D.C. I think as we closed out August, the number one issue that we were hearing about was the potential involvement of the United States when it comes to Syria. I want to be very clear. I do not believe that we should be committing American resources, and particularly our valiant men and women, in a conflict that we cannot solve, a civil war in Syria. The President drew a red line. What we need to be measuring is the interests of this nation. From the standpoint, if we look at the War Powers Act, is the United States and/or our interests directly threatened? When we look at the tragedy that unfolded in Syria, as horrific as it was, better than 1,400 men, women, and children that were killed by gas, another 100,000 that were killed by bombs and bullets, we see a travesty. But it is a civil war, something that the United States cannot control or really impact. Once we get involved, I think that we would see a challenge that we would find very hard to be able to extract ourselves from. In that War Powers Act, when it talks about a direct threat to our country and or our interests, that should be the measure to determine whether or not the United States is involved in any action. There is not that threat in Syria, and I will be a no vote should the President or leadership in Congress call for a direct vote. We need to make sure that when we're using the bravery of our men and women in our armed services, that it's used in the defense and interests of this nation. We certainly don't see that in Syria. We obviously have a number of other issues that we're going to be dealing with over the course of these next few weeks as we move to the end of this year that are very important to all of our people at home. We want to encourage you to get in contact with our offices. We had a number of thoughts that were expressed very well to us during the course of that August recess. We're carrying that message back here to Washington in terms of the legislation. We're keeping our eye on what we heard overall most throughout our district. It is about jobs, it is about the economy, it's about security for our families as well. We're going to continue to work on those issues, and as always, we certainly appreciate your calls, your comments, and your emails coming to our office so that we can best express your view here in Washington.